I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. Tender moments seem to go so fast. Reminisce, reminisce. I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. A love so strong it will never pass.
Love Park Connection.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody.
So today we are going to talk about navigating emotional roller coasters in the relationship. But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. Welcome to Love Park Connections, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships. My name is Angela Parker.
And I'm Pierre Parker.
We are a husband and wife marriage and relationship coaching duo. We've been married for 27 years, together for over 30 years, and it's our goal to help Black couples communicate more, love more, and build long-term relationships, healthy long-term relationships. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell so you'll be reminded when we send out new videos. So thank you so much for joining us. So today, baby, we're going to talk about emotions in the relationship.
Emotions in the relationship.
Emotion. You don't know nothing about them. Emotions.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, first of all, we got to talk about your new setup.
Oh, my new
there.
setup. Well, they can't see it, but
Well, no, but I mean, they can probably you
they'll-
might hear a little difference. Or,
yeah,
you
there
know.
might be a little difference in what you hear because I now have my own little studio, my own office, and my baby's over here trying to make it sound good.
Trying. It's hard.
Anyway, so of course my studio is not set up like his because his is for actual recording music, and mine, it's our empty room that we've converted into my office. So we're still working on it. So if it sounds a little different, bear with us. We're going to get it together. We're going to get it together.
Yep.
So what we are going to talk about is understanding the emotional roller coasters in relationships. And, since, you've been in a relationship for 30 plus years, you know a little bit about that.
Little bit.
So the one thing I am always interested in is how do you define emotional roller coasters in a relationship? So we all know women, we have our emotional roller coasters, but so do men. So because especially as they get older, you've been getting a little grumpier, baby, as you've gotten older.
Because I don't have no more.
F's to give.
I can't cuss on this.
Yeah, I think you can. I've heard people cussing.
I don't have no more fucks to give.
Yeah, no, you
I'm
don't.
all out of fucks. My bag of fucks is all gone.
Yes, they are. So, but defining the emotional roller coaster, it means is just identifying typical triggers for emotional highs and lows, and emphasizes how to address emotions, how unaddressed emotions can affect the relationship and its well-being. So if you have someone who, I don't look at this as just like a typical emotions, but something that's ongoing, something that's really affecting the relationship, and that it goes beyond just the occasional mood swing. So, in our relationship, have you? I've gone through my emotions, but has there something that really stood out to you? Just kind of give an example. Has there something in our relationship with me in particular that stood out throughout the years? That stood out with you?
Well, we talked about that before with the money thing.
What that's.
Are we talking?
Well, we're talking about the emotions behind in the relationship, not the issues, but the emotions that trigger and could cause problems in the relationship. I've been going through menopause. I'm past that now, but that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Lord.
What were your reactions, and how did you deal with when I was going through my emotional roller coaster?
Besides buying you a fan for your nightstand.
That's
so
not
that I wouldn't freeze
That's
in the
not
night?
emotions.
I'm just okay.
That's a physical. That's a physical problem. That's not an emotion.
Okay, but I mean, your emotions were all over the place.
Right. And
Over the place.
And how did you deal with them?
Well, I did what we said before, in some of the other episodes. I would walk out the room. I'd walk out. If you was on one, I'd walk out. But actually, the thing that really made me kind of deal with it even more is the fact that I had to understand that a lot of times you didn't even realize you were, going through. You were like grumpy or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. You were crying or whatever. So I had to understand that.
Right.
It took me a minute to understand that
right.
You don't even realize and you can't control that.
Right.
And it's kind of like the same thing of when a woman is going through, when they're on their menstrual,
right.
On their cycle,
mm-hmm.
Which is not talked about. Everybody talks about the woman side of it, but mm-hmm. they never talk about how the man is affected
has to deal with it.
How the man has to deal with it.
Yeah. And affected, you're right.
Because
because then that triggers your emotions.
Exactly, because
mm-hmm.
what ends up happening is you guys say you end up, all of a sudden you mad about something.
Right.
And then we're trying to figure out, well, why? What happened?
Right.
Because sometimes it just comes out of the blue. And it's the same thing with menopause.
Right.
It's the same thing. But it just comes out of the blue, and we're like, what happened? We're trying to figure it out. And when we say that makes it even worse. And
right.
then all of a sudden now you're crying.
Right.
And then we're like, well, why are you crying? What happened? What? So we had to learn to be able to be flexible, which is hard, but we have to learn to be flexible with you guys' emotions.
Right.
And like I said, the main thing that helped is to understand that you guys can't control it.
Right.
It's something that you guys are going through and you can't control it. And a lot of times you don't even realize that you're doing or saying something or you're in this emotional state.
Right.
And the smallest little thing, it could be, a piece of paper that's on the counter and you'd be like, why didn't you pick it up?
Right.
And I'm like, well, it was just there. You're like, well, you should have picked it up. It's been there, and it's been there for like 2 minutes, and you should have picked it up. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. And then it's like,
are you trying to say that was an actual argument that we had?
Well, I'm just saying it was.
Was that an example?
That's an example, but it was stuff that was petty like that. And then if I was like, hold on, wait a minute, what's going on? Yeah, and you're crying. I'm like, wait. But. Well, like I said, It got to the point to where I had to understand that that's something that you can't control that.
Right.
It's something that you were going through. And the best way that I can help you to go with it and the best thing that I can do is to try to understand that and to try to help you.
Right.
So, like I said, sometimes, I get emotional. I get pissed off because now you're mad and yelling at me.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, hold on. And I have to catch myself.
Right.
So that's why I said, walk away. And walk out and let you deal with that until you come down. And then and then after a while you're cool and then we can talk sensibly. So is that one of
that's very true. There's been a lot of times where you've had to walk away.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, men also don't realize that even though they don't go through menopause, mm-hmm. they still go through the changes, some sort of change that men go through. And like you said, you don't have no more fucks to give. And I've noticed that throughout the years that as you've gotten older, you have less patience. Mm-hmm. You just less patience. I guess that's the best. That's the best word to use for you. You have less patience.
Yep.
And sometimes I'm like, well, why is he so grumpy? It's a great day today, and it's beautiful outside. And I've been trying to get into my Zen and do my meditation and so forth. And you come home and I understand you come home and you're tired and everything, so you need your old man nap, but. But I also noticed that the change in your emotion, your emotions have changed, and you have less patience with everything. Not necessarily with me. You don't snap at me, but just in general, I've noticed that you have less patience, and I'm trying to say, baby, just zen, more Larry cheese. But I'm trying to get you to zen.
I think one of the funniest things is when you told me one time, you was like, why you wake up just mad? You look mad when you wake up. You got the little 11s. The 11s between your eyes. Why you got the 11s when you wake up? What's wrong with you?
Right. And you used to say, I got kids and a wife. I said, well, now the kids are out of the house. My sister's out of the house, which she wasn't a problem. But and now we got three 4-legged kids. I'm like, why are you you're supposed to be, you're 56. You should be happy you made it to 56. Let's just be happy. We're right around the corner from retirement. Let's just be happy. Let's get rid of them emotions and let's just be happy.
Look, I guess that's the midlife crisis that men go through.
I guess so.
I ain't going out buying a sports car. I ain't trying to get the younger woman and all that stuff. So
so it's just the 11s and the grumpiness when you walk.
Yeah, I got
to wake up grumpy. How do you wake up grumpy? But hey, I don't know. So, how do you think the impact of unresolved emotions? How does that impact the health of the relationship? So, if there's, for instance, if my emotions continue to happen, if my emotional roller coasters continue to happen beyond menopause, how do you think that could have impacted? Because at some point, both sides, whether it's the husband, wife, the male, female, whatever, that's going to impact the other person if their spouse or their partner can't get those emotions under control. True. So how do you think that can, negatively impact, the relationship?
Well, I think it can negatively impact the relationship quite a bit because it's an unresolved issue. It needs to be talked about. Right. And whether
it's talked about between the partners or hey, go get some therapy.
Get some therapy. But it does need to be talked about between the partners. Right.
Definitely. Because, you think about it, if you have someone who's constantly on a roller coaster, and now it also might be mental health, and if it's mental health, then still go, you still need to go seek some help, seek some, some guidance. Yeah. But, there's only so much that someone can deal with if you have this person who you don't know how to help or you don't know what's wrong. And like you said, they might not know what's wrong. And then that person eventually, your partner, your spouse might just say, I can't do this anymore. I've tried, we've talked and I'm trying to understand, but I can't go through this this emotional roller coaster anymore. Yeah. And either you get it, you figure it out, or I've got to walk away.
Yeah, got to do what's best for me.
You got to do what's best for you and your mental health. Exactly. So it's just I think that unaddressed emotions, of course, is going to negatively affect the overall well-being and stability of the relationship. Yeah. So you have to highlight the importance of acknowledging and managing those emotions to maintain a healthy relationship. So you also have to recognize that, hey, this is a problem. The person who's going through that emotional roller coaster has to recognize, there's a problem here and I need to figure it out. Yeah. Because that's and if you have kids at home that are still in the home, that's then it's impacting not just you and your spouse, but the whole family. Yeah.
The whole family.
So, and understanding and responding sensitively to the emotions of their partner is important, because you have to, because it builds that mutual trust and respect and connection. So as your partner, yes, you want to be there for that person who's going through that emotional transition, and you have to try and understand and do the best you can to give them that connection and to give them that support, because it's really important to make sure that you are there for that person.
Yeah.
And try and get that person, if that person needs some additional help and you're not the one who can help them, then hey, by all means, you have to encourage your partner to go ahead and get that support that they need.
Yeah.
So there are some, I was looking up to see what are some ways how to develop self-awareness to identify and manage emotions effectively. And here were a few of them that were really interesting to me. And one of my favorites is practicing mindfulness, which involves being present in the moment, and just such as meditation, deep breathing, all those new buzzwords that everybody is talking about. But it's really, really, I practice it every morning, just being in the moment and meditating, and also gratefulness. So that really helps to kind of calm my emotions down and focus on really what's important, and not letting my thoughts get out of control. And then reflecting on your emotions, just setting aside time to reflect on what's going on. Why am I feeling this way? Keep a journal of what's going on and what's triggering, your favorite word, what's triggering you.
Triggering.
So, and this helps you gain insight and see what the patterns are. There might be certain patterns at certain times of the day or whatever, and you're like, okay, why is this happening now? Why is this triggering me? Why is this particular pattern at this particular time of the day? So that's another good way for someone who's going through that emotional ups and downs to just kind of reflect on your emotions. Because if you don't know that you have these emotional roller coasters, you can't address them. And then also label, have specific words, such as, you could be anxious, you can be frustrated, unhappy. If you have a label for them, then you can probably better communicate that to your spouse or to a therapist, saying, hey, this is what I'm feeling. And, it might be, the labels might even be more complex than that. But, at least being able to label how you're feeling can help you identify. And then this is an interesting one, and I think more so for the partners, practice empathy. In trying to understand others' emotions. So you as a partner trying to understand what I'm going through, which you did very well. You were really good at trying to understand, and you were actually better able to pinpoint what some of my emotions were. You were able to label them better than I was because you were able to see them. So and then pause and reflect. These are just a few. There was a list of them, but one, pause and reflect. So when you notice a strong emotion, take a pause before reacting. And then, consider the cause of the emotion and how it's affecting you and how you might want to respond. So if you take the time to pause and then say, okay, what's going on here, and reflect on that before you respond, you could probably alleviate also a lot of arguments.
The other part of it that I had to get used to it was, I could tell you, but it was getting you to understand it and believe it.
Yeah.
That was the part,
Right. Right.
you know, and that took a minute.
Right.
And then you finally understood. You finally kind of reflected on yourself.
Right.
And you understood. But
I don't think about myself.
you had to go sit down somewhere and think about yourself.
I did.
You had to go sit in the corner for a minute and think about yourself. But, you know, by doing that, and then you realize, you was like, okay, I see where I need to try to work
on it, yeah.
Yeah, but
I appreciate that you were so patient.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's patience. We have to, no matter what. I mean, you've been there through thick and thin with me, going through the stuff that I've gone through,
right,
in my life and things that I've gone through, and you know, I had to be there for you. That's what this is. This is a team,
right?
You know, and that's what people have to understand in these relationships is, you know, it's not individual. It's together. You're one. So if you're going through something, I need to be there for you. Mm-hmm. And bottom line, if you're going through something, that means I'm going through it with you.
Right.
You know, and vice versa. If I'm going through something, that means you're going through it with me.
Yeah.
So that is a big part of it. You know, like I said, you were going through your things, and I had to support you as much as I could.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Y'all remember that. Support your partner.
Exactly. And right here it says supporting each other through highs and lows. So just like you're saying, mm-hmm. that it's important to be there for each other during both the good times and the challenging times.
Yeah.
And, you know, celebrating, you know, milestones and achievements, mm-hmm. and offering that emotional support and validation during tough periods.
Yeah.
Because when you did that, and I saw the patience and how you were able to help me go through it, mm-hmm. that just created a stronger bond between us.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you do to the best of your ability. And again, back to if this person is really out of control, maybe there's something, maybe if the emotions are out of control and every day and it's just causing so much conflict in your relationship, then there might be something deeper, and that might require therapy.
Yeah.
And that also can be difficult, getting your partner to realize, look, you might need therapy, because as we know in this country, mm-hmm. therapy and mental health are frowned upon, or I shouldn't say frowned upon, but it's not a favorable topic to talk about. Yeah. And whether you agree with it or not, or think, you know, whatever, there's so many reasons why mental health is out of control. But if that is the issue, mm-hmm. then by all means seek therapy, and hopefully your partner will be there with you and going with you and supporting you and just being there to offer that support and guidance to the best of their ability. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that, you know, that's ultimately, it's a partnership and it's a commitment, and you have to connect on that level and be there, because it might turn around where, you know, like with you, mm-hmm. you're going through your grumpy stage. I got to mm-hmm. be there for you. I got to figure out how to, you know, help you through it, and you know, just sometimes just being there to listen. You know, when you come home frustrated about whatever, mm-hmm. you know, just being there to listen and try to offer some solutions, or sometimes just listening.
Yeah.
Maybe there aren't any solutions. You know, that person just needs to vent.
Yep.
So.
Oh, I do that quite a bit with you.
Yes, you do.
I'll wear your ear out sometimes.
Yes, he does. And another one is forgiveness and letting go, just like we're talking about. You know, the role of forgiveness in healing emotional wounds and rebuilding trust. So when you have that person, that your partner that's willing to, for whatever the emotional outburst you have, they're willing to forgive and just let it go and move on, then that speaks volumes, you know, to that person going through that emotional roller coaster. And you have to learn how to let go of past hurts and focus on, present and future. So if your partner has done something to you through their emotional outbursts that is forgivable, then that's what we need to do, let go of what they've done in the past. And, especially if they've apologized or they've really tried to make amends, you need to let that go and then focus on what's going on now in the present and then, look forward to the future together.
Yep.
And then practice compassion and empathy towards each other's mistakes.
Yep.
That's what we have to really learn to do in our relationships, because if you're holding on to it and throwing that mistake in your partner's face every time, you guys get into a little spat, then that could also trigger those emotions to go off again. So,
yeah.
Any of those things resonated with you, baby?
Yeah, all of them. Look, we got 30 years of this.
Yes, we do.
They all resonate.
All of them resonate. Yes, definitely. So, in a nutshell, though, we all have to remember that we go through, men and women, we all go through these emotional roller coasters. And we have to learn, especially if you're trying to build a healthy relationship, you have to learn, again, communicate what's going on. And if you can't communicate that, then, if you're not sure what's going on, then at least tell your partner that, hey, I'm not sure what's going on, but, I'm sorry, let's work through this. And if your partner sees what's going on and they can kind of identify or label what's going on with you, then accept that and try and listen to what your partner's saying, because sometimes the person who's looking on the outside looking in can see things that you might not be able to see. So be willing to listen, understanding that these emotions, if it's not really a deep mental health issue, then these emotions you can figure out how to get through them and move past them.
Yeah.
So, any words of wisdom before we sign off today, babe?
Pretty much we've said it all. Like I said, it's just I always go back to the same thing: communicate.
Yeah.
Talk to that person.
Talk to that person, exactly.
Talking is the most essential and the most important thing that you can do. And like I said, always be aware of, fellas, be aware of the stuff that they go through when it comes to their menstrual cycles and the menopause.
Right.
'Cause they go through some stuff.
Yeah.
They go through it.
Yes.
And I know they put us through it. They put us through the ringer. Yes, they do. But if they putting us through it, just imagine what they going through. So
yeah.
we kind of got to
so
look
true.
at it like that.
We
And
do, yeah.
like I said, if she getting on your nerves too much, just go get your PlayStation and go to the other.
Go to the other
Go
room.
to the other room. Or
And lock the door.
Lock the door.
Hope she don't follow you.
Hope she don't follow you poking the bear. Or go hop in the car and go take a ride or something.
Right.
Go to the gym.
Exactly.
Go hit the heavy bag or something.
Right.
Just go on and get away.
Yeah.
And let her just sit at the house and kind of calm down and come back later on, maybe with some dinner or something. And I'm sure she'll probably be hungry by the time you come back. Look, at least you was.
Listen to you.
But yeah, that's what I would say, fellas, just to keep that in mind.
Yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
They go through it on both sides, the menopause and the menstrual cycles.
Right.
So.
And that's not the only reason we have emotional
No,
outbreaks.
that's not the only reason.
That's our outbursts.
But that's a big one.
That is.
That's a very big
right.
one.
That's when the emotions and the hormones are going all over the place. But yes, you're right. That's a big one.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, they take a lot of that stuff personal. They'll take that stuff personal. Why you just yelling at me? This and this and that.
Did you?
In the beginning, yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning, because wasn't really understanding.
Right.
So and it took me a while, and it took some other people, my dad, and some uncles, and other friends of mine that was put into my life at times, to get me straight. you know, they were able to, you know, talk to me about stuff
Right.
and got me to understand things. So, you know,
All right.
that's what I would say.
All right. Well, thank you, baby. That was great information.
Okay.
So, thank you guys again for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button for new videos. And remember to sign up to our email list at loveparkconnection.com for upcoming courses and the pre-sale of my book, 30 Years and Counting, which should be out in November. All right. Well, thank you again, baby, for joining me. I always appreciate when you decide to join me.
When I decide
When
to
you
join
decide
you.
to join me.
You are welcome, baby.
All right. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, you guys. Thank you again and bye.
Bye.